My husband's first love, Elaine, committed suicide and went to the hospital to vent his anger for Elaine. My husband acquiesced to my 9-year-old son Leo punishing me. Leo snatched my cell phone, pushed me out of the car and threw me, who was pregnant and wearing thin clothes, on a snowy mountain road. I dragged my injured feet and moved step by step in the ice and snow. The baby in my belly was gone without exception. When I woke up in the hospital, looking back at my ridiculous marriage for 10 years, I finally woke up completely. I contacted a lawyer to prepare a divorce agreement. From now on, I don't want my son and husband anymore. The day before our 10th wedding anniversary, the news that my husband Jason carried my half-sister Elaine into the hotel became a hot topic. Elaine committed suicide because she was so ashamed of being called a mistress. I stood on the steps of the hospital and watched my husband Jason anxiously rush into the hospital with my son following the ambulance. Seeing me standing on the steps, Jason just glanced at me coldly and passed me by. My 9-year-old son Leo stopped and yelled at me regardless of the people coming and going in the hospital. "Did you ask the paparazzi to take the photo? Mom, how can you be so shameless? I tell you, Aunt Elaine, if anything happens, I will never forgive you. It's not me. I didn't do it. It's you, Mom, you lied, you will be punished for being so despicable," Leo said as he pushed me hard, and I fell down the steps. The pregnancy test form in my hand flew out without being held tightly, and when I got up from the ground, Leo had disappeared. I picked up the pregnancy test sheet and limped out of the hospital. The joy of pregnancy was washed away. My husband, the son I raised with great effort, didn't care about me at all. He only had another woman in his heart. I didn't know if I could give birth to the baby in my belly. I had never felt so tired in my 10-year marriage with Jason. I knew Jason didn't love me. I knew the person he loved was my half-sister Elaine. I was useless because I couldn't keep a man's heart, but why did I do this to Elaine after I desperately gave birth to my son who was related to me by blood? What did I do wrong? I thought Leo's words about punishing me were just a casual remark out of concern that Elaine would be angry, but I didn't expect him to actually do it. Jason didn't come back overnight because Elaine committed suicide, and Leo came back the next day. He didn't call me vicious and mean anymore, but changed his attitude. "Mom, today is your 10th wedding anniversary with Dad. Dad has prepared a surprise for you at the villa on the mountain. Jason and I have gifts every year on our wedding anniversary, so I was pulled into the car by Leo without thinking too much. It was snowing outside, and I was very happy when Leo coaxed me into the car, but I didn't expect that it was all a scam. When the car reached the middle of the mountain, Leo suddenly asked the driver to stop the car, then opened the door and pushed me out. There was thick snow on the ground, and I didn't feel any pain when I fell out of the car, but I sprained my ankle. The pain made me scream, and I turned my head to see that the car door was closed. The car window was lowered, revealing Leo's innocent face. "This is a punishment. Punish Mom for your vicious treatment of Aunt Elaine. If you don't learn your lesson, I won't want you to be my mother, and I will let Dad divorce you." I was only wearing a thin coat, and my cell phone was still in the car. I begged Leo to leave his cell phone for me so I could call for help. But the answer was a car that was driving away with white smoke. My son cruelly abandoned me on the mountain when I was pregnant for another woman. It was snowing heavily, and there was no one on the mountain at all. I could only walk down step by step. I don't know how long I walked, but my legs felt as heavy as if they were filled with lead. The moment of exhaustion and despair was followed by pain in my lower abdomen, and warm liquid slid down my thighs. Blood dyed the white snow under my feet red, and I collapsed in the snow powerlessly. When I regained consciousness, I was lying on a hospital bed, and a kind person who passed by saved me. The nurse told me sympathetically that my child was gone. I lay in the hospital for a week. During this period, no one came to see me. My husband and my son, who I loved like my life, disappeared. No, they only disappeared to me. I heard the nurse who took care of me mention them. They were taking care of Elaine in the ward next to me. I heard the nurse who was giving me N4 say, "Mr. Jason is so good to his wife, he has been staying in the ward. The love between them makes me start to believe in love again. Another nurse said, "This doesn't seem to be Mr. Jason's wife, right? I heard that this is Mr. Jason's wife's sister. They are having an affair. This is a disgusting extramarital affair." The nurse who believes in love exclaimed, "No way? Mr. Jason's son is here too, calling me mom all the time. I don't know about that. Anyway, the person living in the next ward is not the principal wife, but the mistress. It's understandable that the husband cheated, but even the son is good to the other party. You can imagine how bad Mr. Jason's wife is. If I were her, I'd rather die." The two nurses left after talking about it, and I, the original wife who they said was better off dead, had a pale face and could only smile miserably. I'm not deaf or blind, I can hear everything in the next ward clearly. I heard my husband taking care of Elaine tenderly and asking her about her well-being. I heard my son call Elaine Mom and said he wanted me, the shameless culprit, to apologize. Mom likes to pretend. She definitely doesn't plan to apologize to Aunt Elaine, so she deliberately turned off her phone and ignored us. "Aunt Elaine, don't worry, I will definitely let Mom apologize." Leo's voice was loud and penetrating. "If she doesn't apologize and repent to you, I won't recognize her as my mother. My heart is dead and my tears are dry. This is my current situation." After the pain and despair, I finally realized it. I put the divorce agreement on the table in front of Jason, and he asked me impatiently, "What are you making a fuss about? Isn't the last lesson enough for you to reflect on yourself?" I apologized sincerely. "No, I have delayed you all these years, sign it, you are free." Seeing that I didn't look like I was joking, Jason looked up and examined me. "Wendy, you have thought it through, playing hard to get won't work with me. I won't give you a chance to turn back." I nodded, "I have thought it through. Just sign it." Jason's face was irritable. "We are getting divorced, Leo won't let you take away." Leo next to me looked at me with disgust and snorted proudly, "I won't go with you. If you want to go, go by yourself. If you leave, I can let Aunt Elaine be my mother." I used to be furious when I heard Leo say this. But now, I don't care. I pulled the corner of my mouth. "Don't worry, I didn't think of taking you away. From now on, it has nothing to do with me who you want to be your mother. I love Leo to my bones, and I know that a child without mother's love will have a hard life. In order to give Leo a complete family, because of Leo's existence, I tolerated Jason and Elaine's relationship again and again. My tolerance did not get anything in return. Looking at my son, who regarded me as an enemy, I was relieved. Everything is about fate. Since there is no mother-son fate between us, I don't need to force it. From now on, I will live for myself." After Jason signed, I carried the box that I had packed long ago and left this home where I had lived for 10 years. I moved to an apartment in the east of the city, which was my house before I got married. After cleaning up my own home for a whole day, I lay down after eating a simple bowl of noodles. I slept soundly all night without dreams. Since I married Jason, I haven't slept so soundly for many years. I am the eldest daughter of the Wen family, the richest family in South City, and I am the legitimate eldest daughter of the Wen family. But everything changed when Elaine's mother showed up with Elaine and Elaine's younger brother. Elaine's mother is my father's mistress, but her eldest daughter Elaine is 1 year older than me. My father cheated on Elaine's mother behind my mother's back. Whoever controls the right to speak in this world is the truth. Since the day my grandfather's company fell, my father no longer avoided the relationship with Elaine's mother. My mother couldn't bear the humiliation and chose to divorce and move away from the Wen family with me. It is said that good is rewarded with good and evil is rewarded with evil, but the facts are never like this. My scumbag and unfaithful father's career is booming, and his mistress's daughter Elaine has become the first socialite in South City. Elaine is versatile and is the darling of the socialite group. She and her fiancé Jason are on the hot search every other day. The Wen family and the Fu family both live in the wealthy south of the city, while my mother and I live in the poor north of the city, dozens of kilometers away from the south of the city. I work part-time and study several jobs a day to make a living. Elaine, Jason, and other people would never have any intersection in my life. But fate forced us to have an intersection. My mother got seriously ill and needed money, and Elaine encountered an avalanche when she went skiing in Switzerland and disappeared from then on. Neither the Wen family nor the Fu family wanted to lose each other's help, so they thought of me, the abandoned child. I agreed to the marriage for my mother's medical expenses. Jason and I went from being strangers to a couple. After marriage, I soon became pregnant and had Leo. Although Jason and I had no emotional foundation, we got along well. Jason was nice to me at first. He would come home on time and let me accompany him to events. On my birthday and every holiday, I would receive gifts that he arranged for someone to prepare on time. Jason was good-looking and talented. I gradually fell in love with him for our family and children. I was doing my duty as a wife and a mother, and I thought our family of 3 would live happily like this. Unfortunately, this was just my wishful thinking. In the 8th year after Jason and I got married, Elaine, who had disappeared, suddenly came back. According to Elaine, she was rescued after the avalanche and was in a coma for 3 years. She forgot a lot of things until recently. After Elaine came back, a third person began to appear in my marriage with Jason. Jason let Elaine join his company as the chief secretary. They spent a lot of time together and rumors began to fly. I saw Jason and Elaine's news on the hot search countless times. For the sake of the child, I chose to tolerate. I didn't want young Leo to become a single-parent child. But I didn't expect that everything was just my wishful thinking. The child I gave birth to has half of Jason's blood in his body. It is this similar half of blood that is attached to the same woman as his father. I don't know when Leo began to hate me. He disliked me for being too controlling. He felt that Elaine was gentle and virtuous, listened to him and let him do whatever he wanted, and could satisfy him and treat him well. And I, the biological mother, was very bad, controlling everywhere and making him not free everywhere. At first, Leo said he hated me and didn't want me to be a mother. I just thought it was just childish talk. Until Leo made a wish on his 8th birthday that Elaine would be his mother and I would disappear forever. I felt very sad. The child I carried for 10 months hated me as a mother. I began to reflect deeply on what I did wrong. Later, I found that things were developing in a direction that I could not control. Leo helped Jason and Elaine date to cover up. He insulted me because of Elaine. He pushed me roughly for Elaine. I thought he was still young, and I could teach him well as long as I explained the reason to him, so that he could be a good person and distinguish right from wrong. Unfortunately, this was just my wishful thinking. I never knew that a child would hate his biological mother like this. Leo regarded me as a stumbling block to Jason and Elaine's union. He liked Elaine incomparably, and asked Elaine to attend the parent-teacher meeting at school. Elaine was asked to attend the sports meet, and at the birthday party, he held Elaine with one hand and Jason with the other. He never even wanted to call me mom outside, saying that it was a shame to have a mom like me. This time, Elaine and Jason were photographed dating and were on the hot search, and Leo actually blamed me for it all. When I woke up in the hospital, I finally understood a truth. Some people have been demons since childhood. There is no way to change, so from now on I will completely give up Leo. Giving up means a new life. I have never been relaxed in the past 10 years since I married Jason. I decided to start with traveling and slowly find my former self. I went to Yunnan first, then Tibet, then Inner Mongolia, and finally Xinjiang. The rolling Yunnan Guizhou Plateau is shocking. I have seen snow-capped mountains and ran across endless green grasslands, and now I am in the vast desert. The sky is full of yellow sand, desolate and strange, and I deeply feel the beauty of nature. What surprised me was that no matter in the Yunnan Guizhou Plateau, the snow-capped mountains of Tibet, or the grasslands of Inner Mongolia, I saw a man who was taciturn, wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a mask. I never heard him say a word, nor did I see him make a phone call. I even never saw his face. The car we were riding in passed through the no man's land, and he sat quietly beside me wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a mask. This strange man made me curious, and I looked at him a few more times. He sat quietly by the window, looking at the desert. I couldn't see his expression clearly, and I don't know why, but I always felt that he was very mysterious. Adventure is always accompanied by danger. An accident occurred when the car we were riding in passed through the no man's land. The car was stuck in the yellow sand, and the satellite communication between the driver and the car in front was interrupted. The temperature in the no man's land is extremely high during the day and extremely low at night. The tour guide, the driver, me, and the strange man were in the same car. Waiting for rescue in this high temperature of dozens of degrees is like waiting to die. We can only save ourselves. We took water and food and prepared to walk through the no man's land. The sand was scalding hot, and I took a difficult step forward. It seemed like my life would be taken away after walking a few dozen steps. The tour guide and the driver were in front of me, and I felt that one person was missing, so I turned my head. I saw that the strange man was sitting on the ground, and he didn't plan to go with us. I went back to persuade him, but he didn't say a word. Finally, I was thirsty, so I grabbed his hand and dragged him along. We walked in the sand, 1 foot deep and 1 foot shallow. After 3 hours of hiking, we drank all the water. Night fell. No need to experience the scorching heat, but also brought bad news. The temperature at night was dozens of degrees below zero, and the cold made my teeth shiver. My legs felt like they were filled with lead and I couldn't move. I had never suffered such hardship before. I knew clearly that I couldn't hold on. I didn't regret doing what I wanted to do at the last moment of my life. I gave him all the food I brought with me, and took off my cold-proof clothes to give to him. Live. You must do your best to survive. The man stopped me, and then I watched him take off his coat and put it on me, then squatted down and carried me on his back to walk through. At first, I still had the strength to talk to him, and then my consciousness began to gradually blur. I vaguely remember that I heard a huge roar, I saw a very beautiful face flash in front of me, and then I didn't remember anything. After waking up, I found myself lying in the hospital. We were rescued. It is said that a helicopter found us and rescued us. I did not see the strange man. He just disappeared suddenly. I know that he is alive and well, which is enough. And the stunningly handsome face in my memory, I thought it was an illusion. After resting in the hospital for 2 days, I was ready to leave for South City. The cool-off period for Jason and I's divorce was about to end, and I had to rush back to get the marriage certificate. I received a call from Jason when I was leaving. This was the first time Jason called me after I left. When I was in Yunnan before, my aunt at home called me, and the teacher at school also called me. They said Leo had a fight with someone, so I asked the teacher to contact Jason, and Elaine didn't care about these things anymore. Jason's call made me think he was urging me to divorce. I answered the phone and said, "Isn't there still 3 days? I will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau on time to wait for you to get the divorce certificate in 3 days. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a while, and then Jason's voice rang out, "Wendy, Leo has a fever, you come back to take care of him." I refused, "I don't have time." "He is your son, are you really so heartless?" Jason probably thought I was still centering on him and Leo as before. "More than 20 days have passed, you should be calm, Wendy. I'll give you one last chance, come and see Leo now, our family is still the same as before." I held the phone and wanted to laugh, and he added, "My son is still young, he needs his mother's company." I finally laughed out loud, "Are you sure he needs me as a mother? I remember he told you in person that he wanted Elaine as a mother. Why do you take the child's words seriously?" "Wendy, don't be willful, I have no obligation or responsibility to visit him. He is your son and has nothing to do with me. You don't need to come to me for his affairs in the future. Besides, we will meet at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau at 8 o'clock in the morning 3 days later." I hung up the phone without giving Jason a chance to speak again. 3 days later in the morning, I appeared at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, but I didn't wait for Jason. Jason's assistant came to the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau and said that Leo fell from the upstairs and broke his leg, and asked me to go over and take a look. I followed the assistant to the hospital and saw Leo lying on the bed with a plaster cast. His leg was broken, and it was said that he fell from the second floor and broke it. Elaine stood in the ward with tears in her eyes and looked pitiful. It's all my fault. I didn't take good care of him, which caused him to fall down the stairs. Jason sat on the sofa with a tired face, and when he saw me come in, he was annoyed at me. It's all your fault. Are you satisfied now? If you hadn't divorced and run away from home, how could Leo be injured? I looked at Jason quietly, and waited until he finished yelling before I slowly said, "You are the father of the child, you are his only guardian. When the child got into trouble, you didn't look for the reason in yourself, but questioned me, an outsider. Mr. Jason, don't you think it's unreasonable?" "What did you say?" Jason looked at me in disbelief. My word outsider shocked Jason to the point of disbelief. I said slowly, "Mr. Jason, I divorce you from the bottom of my heart, not to play hard to get. We agreed before that the divorce would be a one and done deal. Your son's affairs have nothing to do with me. I don't want to manage or care. So, can we take the time to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau now?" Are you crazy? Why? Jason looked at me in astonishment. He seemed to remember the reason for my indifference, and then said, "If it's just because of Elaine, I can explain it. She and I. There's nothing between Jason and me. Wendy, don't misunderstand us." Elaine also took the initiative to explain. "Yeah, you don't have anything clean and innocent. Since you are so innocent and clean, why do you, a married man, want to get entangled with a single woman? Have you seen whose husbands stay with other women every other day, and be on the hot search every day?" I pointed at Elaine, "And you, a single woman, you call a married man for everything big or small. Don't you think it's inappropriate? If the car breaks down, you can call a mechanic. If the cat or dog is missing, you can call security for help. If you are sick, you can call 120. Don't you think there is something wrong with you pestering a married man every day? Don't explain, I'm not kidding, and I won't be jealous. Even if you and Elaine go to bed now, it has nothing to do with me. I just want to tell you that your affairs have nothing to do with me. Don't involve me. I just want a divorce now." Elaine ran out crying, and Jason was so angry that he smashed things, making a lot of noise, and the sleeping Leo woke up. Leo saw me crying with a pursed mouth, and I stood by and looked at him coldly. There was no concern or heartache on my face, and I looked at him as if I was looking at a stranger. I thought Leo would yell at me like before, to vent his anger for Elaine, but he didn't. He cried and called me, "Mom." He probably thought that if he shed a few tears, I would go over to comfort him. I didn't move, and looked at him calmly. "Leo, I'm not your mother is Elaine, you recognized the wrong person." "Mom, don't you want me?" Leo's eyes flashed with panic, and tears flowed. "It hurts so much." I narrated calmly, "You have to bear it. And let me correct it, it's not that I don't want you, it's that you have a new mother. I just want to help you. We agreed, Leo, don't you remember?" Leo was crying. I don't know if it was because of the pain or something else. She kept muttering, "Mom, please pay attention to me. I have something to tell you. It's very important. Leo, just tell your dad if you have something to say, don't tell me, I have no obligation." Jason next to her was mad. "Wendy, do you have to do this? This is your child who you carried for 10 months. How can you be so cruel?" "I am cruel? Mr. Jason, it is never me who is cruel. It is you and your son." I looked at Jason. "I just fulfilled my promise and no longer have any contact with you. I have never been a cruel person, they pushed me to this point. I can't forget the coldness of the snow that day, and the despair when Leo pushed me out of the car. My hands and feet were frozen and swollen, and the child in my belly disappeared. All this was caused by these two people in front of me. They were once my relatives. I always thought that we would support each other, but I didn't expect them to hurt me like that for Elaine. I remembered the experience in the no man's land. I was unwilling to give up a stranger, and he didn't give up on me in return. Love and dedication complement each other. A stranger can do this to me. Why would the man I have spent 10 years of love with and the son I gave birth to do this to me? I always thought it was my fault and that I didn't do well enough. Now I know that it's not me who is wrong, but they are the ones who are wrong. Why should I waste the rest of my life for such a person? When I left the hospital, my aunt chased me out and stopped me. Miss Wendy. She subconsciously called me as before, you should come back. If you don't come back, Leo will be killed by Miss Elaine. Really? I asked back without any emotion. That Miss Elaine is two-faced. She wants to be with her husband, and she moved into your house under the pretext of taking care of Leo. Auntie chose her words carefully. I can see clearly that she never intended to focus on Leo, but just wanted to be with Mr. Jason. During this period, she dressed up beautifully every day to seduce Mr. Jason. Auntie stopped talking in time and changed the subject. Before, she was concerned about you and didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Now that she knows that you and Mr. Jason are divorced, she has become more aggressive. Leo didn't fall down accidentally, but was pushed down by Elaine, by her. Auntie thought I would be surprised and angry when she said that, but I reacted calmly. I knew this day would come. If Elaine was a normal person, she would not be so shameless to hook up with Jason. No matter how loving she and Jason were, 10 years have passed. Jason is married with children and has a family. A woman with a little self-esteem and shame would not be so shameless to cling to someone else's husband. Elaine provoked me, and Jason acquiesced. Her so-called good to Leo was just flattery. She wanted to undermine me and make my son and me alienated and defeat me. I knew Elaine's mind very well, so I tried very hard to fight for it. In order to prevent my husband of 10 years from being deceived by her, I tried to tell Jason what kind of person she was, but Jason didn't believe me. Jason didn't believe me, but I was not that disappointed. After all, I always knew that he didn't love me, and I didn't expect Jason's heart. I just thought that if I couldn't keep Jason, maybe I could keep my son who was connected by blood. But I still thought too much. My son and his father fell into Elaine's hands. Auntie didn't know what I was thinking and continued to persuade me. Elaine is so vicious. She wants Leo to die so that she can have a child with Mr. Jason and monopolize Mr. Jason's property. Madam, please come back for Leo. No matter what, Leo is your child. I interrupted Auntie's words, I won't go back. Everyone has their own destiny. The child is Jason's. Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with me. I won't care anymore. I don't think I'm cruel. I've done my best. And Jason is decisive in business. Can't he see through Elaine's mind? He loves Elaine, and Leo is his only son. Now it depends on how he chooses, whether to have his son or his beloved woman. No matter how Jason chooses, it has nothing to do with me. I am determined to divorce Jason, and there is no room for easing. But Jason doesn't know what's going on and has been refusing to divorce. He said he had a meeting today and a client tomorrow. He refused to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with me to take the final step, but Elaine thought it was because of me and she couldn't wait any longer. Elaine came to me on her own initiative and didn't pretend to be gentle and kind. She handed me a pregnancy test sheet directly. I'm pregnant. It's been 3 months. I didn't look at the pregnancy test sheet Elaine handed me, and smiled. Then what? Go to Jason if you're pregnant? Why do you want to find me? The child is not my own. Elaine didn't see the anger and madness on my face. She was very disappointed and continued to attack me. Jason loves me very much. He just feels sorry for you. After all, you have taken care of him like a servant for 10 years. Not to mention people, even dogs have feelings. So Jason can't bear to divorce you because of your mother-like behavior for 10 years, but I can't wait. Elaine took the pregnancy test report. My child is 3 months old, and my belly will soon get bigger. For my child, you divorce Jason, and I will let Jason try to compensate you. I looked at Elaine's beautiful and righteous face and couldn't help laughing. So as a mistress, what reason do you have to ask me to do things for you? Elaine didn't expect that I was not angry at all. She was mad. Wendy, Jason doesn't love you, not at all. He said that being with you is as boring as being in prison. Don't you feel uncomfortable being with a man who doesn't love you? I laughed, no. Seeing that I was not moved, Elaine was anxious. Wendy, I beg you, okay? Divorce Jason. Jason, it's mine. You've occupied him for 10 years. It's time to give him back to me. I looked at Elaine's face and sneered, Jason is yours? Elaine, don't you know what you did? What avalanche? What amnesia? It's okay to lie to Jason with these words, but do you really think others are fools? Elaine's expression changed suddenly, no longer arrogant. I didn't quite believe the news I received, and my heart sank when I saw Elaine's expression. Is Elaine really that kind of person? During this period, I have been receiving emails from an unfamiliar mailbox. The emails are the secrets of Elaine's past that have disappeared for so many years. The emails have a lot of photos and videos, and the content is Elaine and another man. They hugged and kissed and did everything a couple can do. People who don't know would think that Elaine and that man are a couple who love each other to the extreme. But isn't the person Elaine likes Jason? Why are there such photos? I always thought that these videos and photos were just synthesized, and people with ulterior motives were playing tricks. But now, looking at Elaine's expression, something seems to be breaking out. Could it be that there is another reason for Elaine's disappearance? I stared at Elaine and said word by word, you know what you did abroad, right? Don't be arrogant in front of me. If you make me angry, I will expose the things you did that are not worthy of being shown to the public. Elaine's face turned pale. She looked at me hurriedly and blurted out, how did you know? You don't need to know how I know. I just want to warn you, don't mess with me. Also, although I don't want Leo, this ruthless son, it doesn't mean you can touch him. It's your own way to deal with Jason. Don't use your methods on unrelated children. Wendy looked at me resentfully, you threaten me? How dare you, you bitch? I didn't indulge Elaine. I slapped her in the face and splashed coffee on her face. I didn't expect that my dealing with Elaine would be exposed. Less than half an hour after I left the cafe, Elaine was on the hot search. I don't know who turned the matter between Elaine and Jason upside down. Cheating men and cheap mistresses have always been hot topics, and the headlines of the hot searches are explosive enough. It also clearly explained the entanglement between Jason and Elaine in the past 2 years. For a time, there was a lot of scolding on the internet, and both Elaine and Jason were scolded. Elaine became a rat crossing the street, and Jason himself did not get any good. He called me angrily to question me. Wendy, how can you turn black and white like this? I misjudged you. I interrupted his questioning. If you have the time to question me, you might as well divorce and make your mistress your legal wife. I will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to wait for you now. Jason still refused to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I didn't have time to listen to his explanation and hung up the phone directly. Looking at the hot searches that are still in full swing, I always feel that this matter is a bit mysterious. Who dislikes Elaine so much and digs up her past? Sending me emails and putting Elaine on the hot searches? What does this person mean? Elaine was so embarrassed that she would not give up. I always felt that such a vicious and shameless person like her would definitely do something. Sure enough, my hunch was right. Elaine's revenge came soon. I was very careful after knowing that Elaine was not a good person. But it was useless to be on guard, after all, I still had to go out. I was kidnapped when I went out that day. After I was gagged and blindfolded and taken to the car, I thought to myself that I was definitely dead. Those who held me hostage drove the car to the suburbs. They didn't take me seriously at all. They told me their plan in front of me. The mastermind behind the scenes wanted to ruin my reputation, so he paid them to kill me. They planned to gang rape me and shoot that kind of thing, and also disfigure me to make me live in hell. Those crazy guys took me to an abandoned warehouse in the suburbs. Then they grinned and prepared to beat me. I thought I was dead. But at the last moment, someone appeared. A group of men in black fell from the sky and saved me. Those bad guys were beaten to the ground. I stared at the man surrounded by men in black as if in a dream. He had a stunning face. I had seen this face when I was unconscious in the no man's land. I thought it was an illusion. Now he appeared in front of me alive, and I stared at him in shock and disbelief. The man took off his coat and put it on me who was naked, and then half carried me away. The pleasant sandalwood scent on him made me feel at ease, and I was sent to the hospital for a physical examination. I was just frightened, and there was nothing wrong with my body. After I finished the examination, Jason and his men came, along with my cheating scumbag father and Elaine's mother. My scumbag father yelled at me, "Wendy, what are you going to do? Why did you send your sister to the police station?" Wendy's mother was also crying, "Wendy, we are so good to you. How can you repay kindness with hatred and wrongly accuse your sister?" The scumbag father was furious. "I warn you, go to the police station immediately to withdraw the kidnapping charges against your sister. You are slandering." I did not call the police, and there was no evidence to prove that those people were instigated by Elaine. But Elaine was arrested, and the only thing I could think of was the man who saved me. He must have helped me. Why did he help me? I couldn't think of a reason. Looking at the furious scumbag father, I said hoarsely, "What if I don't withdraw the charges?" My scumbag father yelled, "If you don't listen to me, I won't let you go. Can you tell me in detail what you want to do to me?" I sneered and asked the scumbag father. "Continue to threaten me with my mother? Let me be your pawn? You should know that my mother died 4 years ago, right?" The scumbag father looked at me and avoided his eyes unnaturally, slowing down his tone. "I know you are angry, but you can't slander your sister out of thin air. Your sister has such a good personality and temper, you can't treat her like this." Slandering Elaine out of thin air. I don't know how the scumbag father said this. I have no power. How can I slander Elaine? Elaine must have done it if she was arrested. I don't believe the police will wrongly accuse people for no reason. I chuckled and looked at Jason, who had been silent. "Do you also think that I wronged your sweetheart? Wasn't she the one who kidnapped me?" Jason was silent for a while before speaking. "Wendy, as long as you promise to let Elaine go, we won't get divorced. I will let Elaine leave my company, and I promise that I will never have anything to do with her again." I looked at Jason's handsome face and smiled. "You are really shameless? But your words reminded me." I said word by word, "I can let your sweetheart Elaine go, but I have conditions." My condition was to divorce Jason, and if he signed it immediately, I would let Elaine go. In order to prevent Elaine from going to jail, Jason agreed. The divorce that had dragged on for so long finally came to an end. I felt relieved. After getting the divorce certificate and leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, I blocked Jason and everyone related to him without hesitation. From now on, I will start a brand new life. I was in a good mood and bought some vegetables to prepare a big meal to reward myself. The meal was just ready when someone knocked on the door. I opened the door and saw a stunning face. I stuttered, You, why are you here?" The man looked at me with gentle eyes, and a low voice like a cello sounded, "Hello, I'm Felix. I'm your neighbor next door. Can you invite me in to sit for a while?" I don't know why I had to move aside. After Felix came in, I poured him a cup of tea. He sat on the sofa in my living room. "I'm a little hungry, can you cook me a bowl of noodles?" The noodles were not cooked. I invited him to eat with me to celebrate my return to singleness. From that day on, Felix lived next door to me. He said he was a painter. He came to my place every 2 or 3 days to eat and drink. I don't know why, I just can't refuse. Felix and I are also life and death friends. We went through the no man's land together. I pulled him through the hot summer day, and he carried me through the long cold night. Then he saved my life when my life was in danger. Felix's identity must be extraordinary, otherwise there is no way to explain why he brought so many black bodyguards that day. But I didn't ask. Felix and I are not that familiar. Even if I am familiar, I don't have the habit of asking about other people's privacy. Felix doesn't talk much, he likes painting, and I like it too. We will sit together to paint, without saying a word. He paints his, I paint mine. When we are tired, we eat together, and then go back to our own homes. I saw the tranquility I liked in Felix, and I enjoyed the time I spent with him. I thought we would always get along like friends. Then one night, Felix drank a lot of wine for some reason. I made him some hangover soup, and he fell asleep on the sofa in my house after drinking it. In the middle of the night, I covered him with a blanket, and he suddenly opened his eyes and hugged me. He called me Wendy tenderly, and I don't know why my heart was so soft that it was about to drip. Because of that Wendy, because of his tender eyes, I fell in love. The next morning, I woke up and Felix was still in my house. He clumsily cooked me a bowl of noodles, and then asked me while I was eating the noodles, I am already yours, what are you going to do with me? I almost choked, and stared at him in astonishment. Felix's eyes flashed with a smile, I have thought about it carefully, I am yours, you must be responsible for me. I always thought he was indifferent, calm and didn't care about anything. I never thought Felix would be like this, so rogue. He forced me to take responsibility and moved into my house without saying anything. Our relationship is still the same as before, painting, eating and resting. The only difference is that when I rest, I am no longer alone, but two people. Felix's existence made me forget all the unpleasantness before. He not only paints, but also plays the piano. He would tell me stories with his cello-like voice, and make me feel like I was dying. I enjoyed everything between Felix, and I forgot all the unpleasant things before. If Jason hadn't come to my house suddenly, I would have forgotten that I was married and had a child. The day Jason came to my house was my birthday. Felix prepared flowers for me and cooked dinner for me himself. We turned off the lights and made a wish to the cake when the doorbell rang. I got up and opened the door, and saw Jason and Leo standing at the door. Jason was holding a cake and flowers, while Leo was holding a beautifully wrapped gift. I blocked them at the door. What's up? Today is your birthday, Leo, and I are here to celebrate your birthday with you. Sorry, I don't need you, please go back to where you came from. Jason's face was rarely filled with guilt. Wendy, it was my fault before. I didn't know you were pregnant, I'm sorry for the child. Leo also apologized. Mom, I will never disobey you again, will you forgive me? Let's start over as a family. Yes, we have Leo. Wendy, everything in the past was my fault, I will treat you well, I swear. Elaine, I have asked her to leave the company. I will never have anything to do with her in the future. Felix walked behind me with Jason's assurance, and when he saw Felix clearly, Jason's expression was like being struck by lightning. He stammered, You. Why are you here? Felix put his arm around me, why can't I be here? You guys? Wendy, you guys. This is my boyfriend. I said calmly. Jason's face was pale. He should know Felix. He wanted to say something. Felix interrupted him, I'm going to celebrate my girlfriend's birthday. Please leave. He said this with a smile. Jason didn't dare to look at Felix. He turned around and pulled Leo away. I sensitively realized that something was wrong. Do you know Jason? Felix smiled, I guess so. Blow out the candles first, and then we continue to make a wish. I didn't think much about it. After all, the Fu family is the best in South City. It should be normal for Felix to know Jason. I made a wish and blew out the candles. Felix gave me a birthday gift, a very beautiful turquoise bracelet. He put the bracelet on my hand himself. We lingered until late that night and were exhausted. I woke up in the morning and Felix was not there. But there was breakfast on the table. I was eating breakfast when the doorbell rang again. I opened the door and saw Jason standing at the door. "What on earth are you going to do?" I was very rude, and Jason's voice was rarely soft. "Wendy, let's talk. We're already divorced, what else is there to talk about?" "Mr. Jason, I don't want to see you at all." "Wendy, I have something important to tell you." I impatiently let Jason in, and he sat down in the living room, staring at the painting that Felix and I had drawn on the wall for a long time. Then he looked around the room and saw the easel, and said with difficulty, "You actually like painting, and you paint so well. Mr. Jason, just tell me why you came." "Wendy, I never thought of divorcing you, I just thought you were angry, I thought after we calmed down, I thought I let Elaine leave, you would come back." I laughed. "Mr. Jason, is this all you want to say to me? You won't find that you are in love with me after divorcing me? What a disgusting story." But I am not moved at all, but feel very disgusted. Jason's face flashed with embarrassment. "Wendy, I know you don't believe me, I did find that I fell in love with you. I used to think that the person I loved was Elaine, but now I realize that Elaine was just someone I couldn't get when I was young, and you are already connected to me by blood. I was so sick that I wanted to vomit. Do I need to remind you that Elaine is pregnant?" "Mr. Jason, your behavior of eating from the bowl and looking at the pot is really disgusting." Jason's face was very ugly. He looked at me deeply. "Wendy, I know you hate me. I'm sorry for what happened before, I really want to reconcile with you from the bottom of my heart. We have Leo, can't you just look at our child?" "No. I have been entangled with you for 10 years because of Leo, Jason. I should have withdrawn in time when Elaine came back, but I was soft-hearted because of the child. I was wasted and tortured by you and Elaine for 2 years because of the child. You and Elaine were so affectionate, and you don't remember all the accusations Elaine made against me because of me?" "But I remember it," I whispered. I finally jumped out of that fire pit with a bloody lesson. "What reason do I have to go back?" Jason lowered his head. "I'm sorry about the child. I didn't know you were pregnant, I really didn't know." "Okay, I don't want to talk about the past." "Mr. Jason, there is no way we can go back. I will never be with someone like you even if I die." Jason finally understood my feelings. His face was pale. "I know I hurt you, but Wendy and I have been married for 10 years. I must tell you one thing. Felix is not a good person." I looked at Jason coldly, and he continued, "He is from the Gu family in Beijing, and he is the most unscrupulous person in the Gu family. Do you know how cruel he is? In order to control the Gu family, he can even give up his own mother. A person who kills his mother will never have mercy. Wendy, I am really doing this for your own good. Please leave Felix." I remembered the way Felix sat in the desert, with a mask on his face and his eyes covered by sunglasses, but I don't know why. I could actually feel his sadness and pain, and the sadness and pain I felt made me walk towards him, persuade him, and pull him up regardless of everything. I don't know if what Jason said is true, I just know that when I was on the verge of death, Felix did not give up on me. My son, my blood-related son, who gave everything to me, gave up on me, but Felix, as a stranger, did not give up on me. That's enough. Felix came back 3 days later. He was exhausted, but he looked very happy when he came in. I cooked dinner as usual, and Felix helped me clumsily. We ate dinner as before, and Felix went to wash the dishes after dinner. I sat on the sofa and opened the gift he brought me. The phone rang suddenly, and I looked at the strange number and chose to refuse. The other party kept calling, and I answered it. The voice of the scumbag father was exposed. "You instructed Leo to do it, right? You rebellious girl. How can you be so vicious?" I was puzzled. "If you are sick, go to the doctor and don't bother me." I didn't expect you to be so vicious and shameless. Why did you do this to Elaine? She is your sister? Why did I raise a thing like you? I hung up the phone with the scumbag father, confused, and then found the news push. It turned out that Elaine was in trouble. After Jason and I divorced, Elaine was walking around with a big belly and spread rumors that her child was Jason's. Jason's parents liked Elaine in the first place, and they immediately started to match Jason and Elaine when they knew Elaine was pregnant. It should have been a natural thing, but Jason didn't know what was wrong with him and didn't want to reconcile with Elaine.
Thus the two plotted and finally set their plan into motion. However, we still need the power of the Nine Tails, Wang Chuan said after setting the plan, glancing at the Nine Tails next to him, Achihamadara.
The Fu family certainly didn't believe Leo's words, thinking that I, a divorced woman, was instigating Leo. They wanted to announce the relationship between Elaine and Jason at the Fu family's dinner party, despite Leo's objection. Then Leo pushed Elaine down the stairs in a rage. Elaine had a heavy bleeding and lost the child, and her body was also injured. It is said that her uterus was removed and she will never have children again in this life. The scumbag dad and Elaine's mother were furious when they found out. They thought I had instructed Leo to do all this and wanted to put the blame on me. I didn't expect that I would be slandered by them even though I had given in so much. The scumbag dad and Elaine's mother hated me to death and said that I had instructed Leo to do all this. They forced Jason to take responsibility for Elaine, otherwise they would make a big fuss about it. My scumbag dad sent me a vicious message after I hung up the phone. For the sake of your precious son, you'd better let him accept Elaine obediently, otherwise I will expose all this to the media. You don't want to see your son ruined, right? They were sure that I would do anything for Leo. They were really too bullying. I was so angry that I smashed my phone. Felix took off his apron and came to me and held me in his arms. He kissed my face gently, as if it were a treasure. He said, "Don't be afraid, don't be angry. Leave it to me. I promise to handle it well." I didn't know that Felix's handling would be so simple and rough. Photos and videos of Elaine's years abroad soon appeared on the hot search. The man who was with Elaine also publicly admitted everything about Elaine abroad. Elaine didn't experience an avalanche at all, she just fell in love with someone else. That was a wealthy Chinese businessman Elaine met abroad. He and Elaine fell in love at first sight and they fell in love quickly. Elaine fell in love with the man's tenderness, but she was reluctant to give up her position as Jason's wife. Elaine always likes to plan things in advance. She wants the wealthy Chinese businessman, but she also wants to control Jason as a way out in the future. So she and her mother faked the so-called avalanche. I have to say that Elaine's intuition is very accurate. After Elaine's man gave Elaine 6 years of rich life, his investment failed and he went from rich to poor. Without rich material enjoyment, love also changed. Elaine no longer felt that men were gentle. Seeing that Jason, whom she had abandoned, had a bigger and bigger business, she became jealous. Elaine wanted to take back everything she had. She divorced her debt-ridden husband and returned to China. Then she made up a lie to get close to Jason. Jason still had feelings for her, so the two began to have a lingering relationship. She intervened in my marriage with Jason, used her pretended gentleness and kindness to influence my husband and win the favor of my son. She was still in contact with her debt-ridden husband in private, and the man was unwilling to be abandoned like this. Threatening Elaine, Elaine had to pretend to be with the other party. The child in her belly was her debt-ridden husband's, and she wanted to force Jason to marry her. Elaine's secret was revealed without any cover. There was a lot of scolding online. Knowing the truth, the Fu family would not let this vicious woman like Elaine in. My scumbag father and Elaine's mother were planning to suppress the news for Elaine. Unfortunately, they had no power in the face of absolute capital. Elaine's scandal was on the hot search for a whole month. Elaine lost face, the Wen family lost face, and the Fu family also lost face. Not only was it embarrassing, the Wen family's company suddenly collapsed. They had a big problem with taxes, and the tax bureau arranged people to start checking the accounts. Banks refused to lend, and partners began to withdraw their investment. The Wen family, which had been thriving, finally fell. On the day when the Wen family fell, the court sent a subpoena. The police also started arresting people, and all the people in the Wen family were sent to jail. The scumbag father and his illegitimate son were legal entities that evaded taxes, while Elaine and her mother were charged with smuggling and selling banned drugs and hiring murderers. I heard that the four of them would be sentenced to at least 15 years. The Fu family, which was very close to the Wen family, was also not spared. The Fu family did not fall and go to jail like the Wen family, but it was seriously injured. Jason's expansion plan was blocked, and more than half of the existing companies were closed. And I didn't have time to watch his desolation and helplessness. I was busy choosing a wedding dress and preparing for the wedding. Felix proposed to me, and I had no room for refusal. I was pregnant. Having experienced hurt and betrayal, I was very afraid of getting married. I didn't expect children. But Felix changed my heart. I forgot the unhappiness in his gentle care, and I just wanted to be a loved woman. When I married Jason, there was no wedding. I just got the marriage certificate and married into the Fu family in place of Elaine. Now Felix has fulfilled my dream. Our wedding was very grand. After the wedding, Felix has always been very good to me. I was loved by Felix. I asked Felix more than once, "Why did you choose a divorced woman like me?" Felix hugged me, "Because of you, I have a new life. I changed my mind from wanting to die to wanting to live just for you." At that time, he was pointed at by thousands of people and carried endless infamy. It was an overwhelming and crazy public opinion that even a determined person like him could not endure. Felix, who was framed for matricide, wanted to give up. He handed the company to someone he trusted and planned to take a look at this world and then choose to leave quietly. No man's land was his last choice. He planned to lie in the desert with a temperature of dozens of degrees and become a mummy. It was me, a stranger, who desperately pulled him up. I desperately pulled him forward in the hot day. My desire for life moved him. So when he carried me out on the cold desert night, he had new hope. He used a satellite phone to notify the rescuers. I became his only hope to stay alive. When you are betrayed by the whole world, it does not mean that you are abandoned. It is another new beginning. As long as there is someone in this world who cares about you, you should live, and there is still hope for your future. End of story.